Hello, this is your dietitian, Jenny Tackett with Rock Valley Health, and it's time for week 2 of the Portion Control Health Challenge. So, portion control is an important aspect of healthy eating, and I mentioned last week that portions have become larger and larger, and we are even served on larger plates. So, one tip for portion control is to use a smaller plate or bowl. That can actually help you feel more satisfied. You can see in this picture that back in the 1960s, dinner plates were around 8.5 inches, which holds about 800 calories, depending on what food you're eating. Then in the 1980s, dinner plates were 10 inches, which holds 1,000 calories. In the 2000s, 11-inch dinner plates hold more like 1,600 calories. And then you see in 2009, a 12-inch dinner plate holds about 1,900 calories. So just using a smaller plate at meals, they've also found that people just feel more satisfied, like they're getting a more complete meal than eating off of a very large plate, but putting appropriate portions on there. Same with bowls. So using smaller bowls, smaller cups can also help you feel more satisfied and help you control your portion sizes. So portioning out your plate is important. ChooseMyPlate.gov replaced the food guide pyramid in hopes of teaching people to have a balanced plate of food each meal. So you can see in this picture that the red and the green are your fruits and vegetables, and half the plate is fruits and vegetables. If you want to lean towards less carbohydrate, you could do more vegetables than fruits or even all vegetables, but there are a lot of benefits to including fruits as well, more soluble fiber, a lot of vitamins and minerals. The other half of the plate includes grains and protein. So in the grain group, there's things like potatoes and other starchy vegetables like peas and corn, but also things like pasta, rice, and bread. And with those grains, choosing a whole grain has more fiber and more minerals such as magnesium and also fills you up more. And then your protein sources is about a quarter, a little bit less of the plate, things like beans, meats, tofu, eggs, and just portioning that out appropriately. If you can imagine a plate at a restaurant, a lot of times over half of the plate is your protein source, some sort of meat typically, and then there's fried potatoes. So the other half is going to be a higher fat grain or vegetable. You see that dairy is included there. If you do consume dairy products, that can be part of a healthy diet as well. Around a cup, not an excessive amount. Sometimes a simple portion lesson is that drinking 2 or 3 cups of milk at a meal adds a lot of calories, calories from lactose, which is a sugar, into the diet. So again, filling half your plate with fruits and vegetables, choosing whole grains and having about a quarter of the plate. So it's not that you have to give up pasta, rice, or bread, but picking whole grain options and then keeping the portion sizes moderate. A lot of people will have a bed of pasta or rice, but instead having, just a half a cup would be more appropriate. And then choosing lean protein sources like fish, chicken, beans, eggs, and keeping those portions to a quarter of the plate. ChooseMyPlate.gov is a great website. It has all sorts of resources for portion control and healthy choices. So we're going to use your hand as a way to learn more about portions and be able to kind of eyeball appropriate portions. So make your hand into a fist. Now, of course, there are people that are, very, very tall, have much larger hands than others. So your fist is going to vary in size, but typically if you're much, much taller, you're going to need a little bit more food. So your fist, in general, is about a cup. It might be a cup and a half for somebody who's much taller. But 1 cup of cereal, spaghetti, or some sort of pasta, vegetable, or fruit is going to be about the size of your fist. Striving to get more vegetables and fruit, so filling that plate 2 fists of vegetables, or a fist of vegetables and a fist of fruit at each meal to fill half that plate. Your palm, so open your hand up and look at your palm. Again, it's going to vary based on your size, but a palm is typically about 3 ounces. And so a 3-ounce serving of meat, fish, poultry, beans, tofu is going to be your entire palm. 2/3 of your palm is going to be about 2 ounces. For most people, about a palm at a meal is appropriate, but it depends on your goals. So some people are eating more protein, and I don't recommend much more than 2 palms at a meal because our body can only really absorb 30 to 40 grams of protein at a meal. So even if your goal is to put on muscle mass and build muscle, you'd still want to spread that protein out into meals and snacks. So maybe you do 3 meals and 3 snacks and just have a palm portion at each one. And then last, we're going to look at our thumb. So the thumb tip, and you can see it outlined in that picture, is about a teaspoon. And a teaspoon of peanut butter, mayonnaise, butter, even sugar is going to be about the size of your tip of your thumb. 1 to 2 thumb tips of added fat per meal is a good goal. And fat does give you a sense of fullness. It helps you feel more satisfied. If you go to the extreme of no added fats at meals, sometimes you're just hungry all the time. So you do want to have some fats, but healthier fats like nut butters, olive oil, for example, are better choices. So we're going to use that concept of using your hand for portions, and this is your activity for this week. So at dinner, I want you to compare your portions to your hand. Number 1, how much protein? Is it 1 palm, 2 palms, half a palm? Do you not have any protein at your meal? How many vegetables and or fruit? 1 fist, 2 fists. Remember, each fist is about a cup. And how much added fat? Did you add, let's say, 3 thumb tips of salad dressing approximately, or a thumbprint or a thumb tip of oil when you were cooking? And then number 4 is the evaluation. Do you need to increase or decrease your portions of any foods at your meal? Maybe you didn't get enough protein. Maybe you got too much added fat. Maybe you didn't get enough vegetables. So kind of think about how you did. Maybe you were perfect. But just being more aware of those portions and how you divvy out your plate. All right, well, this concludes week 2. Thanks and have a great day.